Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. This is Jason, and tonight what we're going to be doing is a video over the Turbo Tenant software. So within the group specifically, I see a lot of posts, a lot of questions about what software is best to use and the various different things that go along with that. What can they do? How much do they cost? All those different things. There's a lot of course, a lot of softwares out there that can help the individual landlord. So what I thought I'd do is start just a small series doing some software reviews on some of these. And the one we're going to do tonight is going to be Turbo Tenant. So let me go on and jump over to the screen share here, and we'll just go through this. I don't want this to be a 2-hour long video. We'll get through it, but I want to make sure to cover everything as well, so you can get a feel for what it is, how much it costs, what you can do with it, what's all included, all of those things. So let me go on and jump over here real quick. Okay, so here we are. This is the Turbo Tenant dashboard. I've already signed in. I went in and I've set up a property. I've actually used this in the past, so I had some information in here as well already set up. So this was I'm pretty familiar with the software here, so I think that hopefully I'll be able to do a good job getting you the information you need. So let's just kind of start by taking a look here at the overall dashboard. And this is where we start on is different things you can do here is, there's marketing. You can screen tenants, you can invite people to apply for your home, you can get lease agreements, you can build out a lease agreement, you can have those e-sign document capabilities, landlord forms, recording expenses, a whole bunch of things you can do within the software. We're going to kind of go in here section by section, but this is just kind of the dashboard. When everything's set up and running, you can kind of go here and get to where you need to very quickly. So for our purposes, I'm going to go over here to properties. And this is a property I had set up, and we'll just kind of go on and jump in here because this is where a lot of the management occurs, the tenant management, the property management, marketing, things along those lines. So the tabs that we have here are overview, marketing, maintenance, leases, documents, and expenses. And on the overview here, again, it's just who's your resident, what lease, what's your lease terms, what property, and then a couple quick links on how to get into some of the areas that you want. So the first major feature of the Turbo Tenant is its marketing platform. And this is free to users. This is a free software. They do have a premium version, which we'll get into in a little bit, but this is all free, all the stuff that we're looking at right now. So I like the marketing. It was it's user friendly. It was easy to set up the properties. It made sense. Sometimes some of these softwares I'm messing around with, you have to jump through some weird hoops, and it's not quite a logical approach in my opinion, but this one was pretty straightforward. It was a very user friendly. So once your property's set up and when you're ready to market, you just could jump in here on the marketing side, hit start marketing online, and it'll walk you through a wizard in the process. So the way that Turbo Tenant markets is by using syndicators, which is basically just pushing your rental listing out to a bunch of other sites and trying to get as much exposure as possible. Now, they say that somewhere I read it just says that we market to dozens, and these are the top ones: realtor.com, RentPath. Oh, there it is, dozens more. Rent.com, Apartment List, Zumper. There's actually a list in here too, and it's let's see here. It is roughly 19 sites that they send out to that's at least listed on their help section. So again, apartments.com, apartments list, apartment advisor, college rentals, RentPath, Redfin, realtor.com, rent.com, rental score, rentberry, pad mapper, let's see, apartment list, and Zumper, and there's a couple others, but I've never heard of those before. So, and that's pretty typical of the syndication sites. I mean, you get some that are very recognizable, and then you have a whole handful that can get very, very specific in some cases, like all the way down to, city housing authority or whatever else. I mean, not on this one, but on some of these sites. So another place that this allows you to market on, or it just makes it a little easier. If you like to use Craigslist, they have a nice little posting tool here. And basically all it is when you do this, you just copy this HTML code and post paste it in the Craigslist listing, and it basically has like this pre-structured setup that makes it look a certain way and has the turbo tenant feel to it. And then when they click that inquire, it kind of feeds that information into your software so that you can capture the application, any of the communications, the lead, all of that stuff. So if you like using Craigslist, it's a pretty cool little tool to use. Plus, if I remember correctly, I've done this before. I've messed with this. I'm almost 100% positive that all the pictures, the whole 9 yards gets put in. So it actually makes it a little more difficult, for scammers to kind of come in. But I would always recommend, regardless, is always watermark your pictures, especially if you do plan on using Craigslist. It is known for scammers. Okay, so a couple other things I like about this is that you can create a video tour, upload it to YouTube or Vimeo, and post that as a video tour on the listings. You can come down here and print a flyer, which I think I already have printed out here. Let's go up here. Yeah, this is a flyer. Is that right? Nope, there's the flyer. And of course, when you print it out, it'll be on whatever paper you put out. But I like the QR code link, to take you to the actual listing. And again, this is the flyer that has all the information. It pulls it through your description, amenities, pictures, all that fun stuff. This is actually what the online advertising pretty much looks like. There's some more stuff usually over here, but this one currently isn't on the market. So I mean, this just gives you kind of idea what the look and feel. This is pretty clean. I mean, I've seen some that are pretty chaotic, but this one's pretty clean. It gets right to it. It's organized well as in terms of listings. Okay, so let's see, some of the other marketing features. Here's one. You got an online rental application. Now, the online rental application for the free, the way that I understand it is that, it's just a standard rental application, all your standard questions. It's more than enough for 99.9% of most landlords. In the premium, there is the option to add customized questions and things along those lines, which may be attractive to you, especially if you want to try to figure out how to work in screening criteria, things along those lines. But if you don't want to pay for the premium and you just want to use a standard application, what's nice is that, it links to your listing. You can share that listing. You can share the application. So if you show it to somebody that got the listing from somewhere else, you can send them this link as an application and they can apply online. I think it links up to if I remember, it links up to if you're going to run screening on them, you can kind of link it to that as well, which is the next kind of feature is the tenant screening. Now, the tenant screening, the way their tenant screening works is that whether you send them a link to the application or you can invite them to apply, which is basically just a link to the application. But what it does is it charges them a $55 application fee or background credit fee, whatever we're going to call that. And then it runs the credit and then it sends you the report. So you don't have to enter a bunch of information. You don't have to submit the applications. If you're set up that way, it'll do it all automatically for you. So they apply for it. They agree to everything. They pay for the application fee. You get the screening reports for everybody that's going to be applying. And so yeah, pretty quick and easy. Again, we'll talk about the premium. There's a little bit of a discount on that in the premium, but that it's a tenant paid, renter paid expense anyway, and that $55 application fee in the bigger scheme of things is pretty reasonable these days. I've seen them a lot higher for sure. Okay, so let's talk about tenant management. So again, this is all designed, this whole dashboard and everything in here is designed to help you manage the tenant relationship as well. So one of the things that they do in terms of that is on the leasing side, and we'll just kind of jump over here to the leasing tab. But you do have online leases that you can create, you can upload, and if you want to have an e-signature signed, you can actually link it up that way and send it off, or you can you get one of their online leases and have it all written out and everything else. If you're on the free one, that'll cost you $59. If you're on the premium, it's included with the premium package. But having that online lease, especially if you don't have a lease, if you have a lease, you can work with your lease and go completely around that and do what you need to do. But if you don't have one and maybe it's your first or second time, or you think you need a better lease, maybe check theirs out. You know, it's I've seen it. It's a pretty solid lease. It allows you kind of customize based on the terms and stuff you want to put in there. So that is kind of a nice deal. And then again, I like the e-signature component as well. Another thing for the tenant management side of things is that there's a messages portal here, so you can send messages and receive messages back and forth from the tenants. And this is really nice, especially for documentation purposes. I mean, you can use this the entire time they're tenants. If they want to turn in, I think there's a place where they could actually submit work orders, but any type of communication, I always recommend getting in writing. And this is just one more way to do that. Email, message, text message. If you have text message, save those as well. Let's see, they do the online rent payments. They'll collect the rent. The tenant will pay a fee. I think ACH is like $2. I'm not sure what the convenience fee is if they use credit card. But if they do use credit card, I'm sure it's like 2 to 3%. That's pretty standard. So that's nice. Having that option for your tenants makes things a lot more convenient. Another thing they do is they have the maintenance tracker over here. Now, this isn't anything like super sophisticated, but I don't even think it has to be either. Really what we're doing here is we're just I'm a huge fan of documentation. I mean, I owned a property management company for a long time, and then I've worked in the multifamily quite a bit as well. And so I've been exposed to a lot of risk and litigation where documentation is just, that's what you do. So anything like this, I'm really happy about. But this is, again, not an overly sophisticated tool, but it's a great way to track your maintenance requests. So somebody calls one in, or somebody could submit it online directly with your Turbo Tenant through their portal, and it has the category, what kind of issue is it, maybe a title, what's actually going on, and then just some information. Maybe the tenant has some photos, but once you create this, it'll be on, I don't think it'll show up, but there's actually a listing of all your open requests, and then you can close them out. And what I like about it is you can go in there after it's closed out, and you could put like, what happened, like sent plumb over, corrected issue, blah, 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 blah. And then you can even, if with the photos on there, if there's photos, you can upload those as well, and just keep track of all those documents in one place, so that if there's ever any question about it, or if anything ever comes back on it, you have all your stuff right here. So that is a very nice feature on the maintenance tracker. Let's see here, documents. I do like the documents as well. If they have, copies of your insurance policy, any utility or maintenance contracts, manuals, assets, resources, or invoices, receipts, loan documents, if you want to upload those, any other documents, home inspection reports, basically anything that's involved with the property. If you want to have a quick access to it, you can upload it here, and it's very convenient to get to. So let's see what else we have here on the tenant management side. Expenses, you can track your expenses here. Again, it's not going to be overly sophisticated, but again, you may not need it to be overly sophisticated. Really, all you're trying to do here is you're trying to capture the date the expense occurred, what it was, what happened, and how much did it cost you. And then over the course of a year or however much, when it comes tax time, you can export this out and use that for your tax accountant to get your taxes done on this property. It makes things very quick, very easy. Again, everything's in one place, very organized. So I like that. And again, for most of our purposes, we don't have to have overcomplicated accounting systems. We just, we need to know what we made and what we spent. And this is an easy way to do that. I mean, you can see what you made on the rent side, which I missed that part, which is over here. So when rent payments start coming in online, it'll list when and how much. You can create your charges. You can charge them a security deposit, the whole 9 yards. So you can keep track of all your income. You can start collecting your income. You can have your bills, the charges paid through the collection of online rent. And then, of course, when you pay those or whatever else, you can track those as expenses as well, which makes your year-end accounting on this extremely easy. Okay, so that's kind of the major overview of the tenant management and the marketing and the major components of the free software. The next thing I kind of want to talk about is a premium. Now, the premium is an upgrade. It runs $8.25 a month. Some of the things that come with that are things like, some of these things to me, I'm not so sure how much it matters, but priority listing review. So when you submit a listing, somebody has to review it, make sure that, it doesn't violate any fair housing and any of that type of stuff, make sure it's appropriate for the site. This gives you priority listing review. You get bumped to the top of the list and get your listing approved quickly. I did not have this when I posted mine, and I don't recall really that. I don't really call a delay when I did it. It's been a little bit, but it got reviewed and posted pretty quick, but that's okay. Lower application fee. Instead of charging the tenant $55, they charge them $45. So I guess that's a benefit to the applicant. And I guess that it could open up more applicants. I mean, the cheaper that is, the more attractive it will be. I mean, if somebody has a choice between paying a $100 application fee and a $45 application fee, they're most likely to go with the 45. 55 to 45, I don't know, but still, it can't hurt for sure. No skin off your back. Let's see here. You can set up a custom pre-screening and application questions. So this is where you kind of can customize your application some, and you can set up pre-screening questions like, do you have animals? Do you smoke? Have you ever been evicted? Whatever those pre-screening questions are that you typically ask, you can set those up so that before they even start the application, they have to mark yes to all those, or they don't even get a chance to fill it out. It disqualifies them, so it saves everybody some time. Let's see here. Unlimited lease agreements. So for that, I don't really think there are. Well, okay. So the unlimited lease agreements. The other ones cost you $59 a lease. So if you had 5 units and you had to pay $59 each, where if you're on a premium, you don't have to pay that $59 fee. That's what that is. And so that could definitely save you some money. They had the landlord forms pack on here, which they do charge on here separately, $199 a year for. It's included in this program, but it's 32 rental forms. I've seen it. I tried the premium myself, and they're fine forms. It was all the basics. If you're ever interested in more, check out our landlord launch program. We have close to 400 forms in there, everything you can want and more. But for what this is, included is a nice little perk for sure. Enhanced rental payments, that just basically means instead of getting your money in 2 to 3 days, you get it the next day. Free ACH payments to the renter. So the renter, if they pay using ACH, normally they get charged a $2 fee. This waives that fee. So again, that's kind of a benefit to the tenant that you can put out there for them as well, if it helps. And then faster support response, you kind of get bumped up on the support side of things. Now they do sell an upgraded support package that you can call and some other things, but I didn't put the price down on that, but I think it's like $99, $49, something like that. But they do have an upgraded support package as well, for turbo tenant related issues. And then finally, the last thing I want to cover is the REI hub. So turbo tenant and a lot of other of these types of softwares as well have done this, have partnered with REI hub. And what this is basically an accounting platform. So if you need more sophistication, if you're running, multiple properties, this is where this would come in. Your expenses and your income work just fine for this, but you start getting into multiple properties, especially, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus properties, you need to really start getting something on an accounting software, because information is key there, and it makes things a lot easier to be able to look at your financial data through a program like that. And that's what REI hub is. I have messed around with it. I've run transactions through it. I haven't used it long term. Overall, it looks like a pretty solid program. One of the things it does is based on if you collect rent within the Turbo Tenant platform, it will transfer those rent payments in automatically, so you don't have to log those. But expenses and payments and things along those lines, it will connect with your bank account, so you can download transactions. So if you have a dedicated bank account for your rental account, you'll be able to download those transactions and reconcile against that. So it is a fairly solid accounting software, and I've dealt with quite a few, Buildium and Appfolio, a lot of Appfolio, Yardi, very familiar with all of those in their accounting platforms. And this isn't as sophisticated as that, but it is more than enough for most single family rental applications for sure. And then so that is an upsell. That's $15 per property, but they do cap that off at 15 properties. So the most you'll ever spend on the REI hub is $85 a month. Having said that, Buildium, which is just in a different class. I mean, you can't even really compare Turbo Tenant and some of these other softwares like this to a Buildium or just like you can't compare a Buildium to a Yardi. They're just different beasts. But if you're spending that type of money or have that type of units, I think Buildium, the basic starts out somewhere around $50, $65 a month. Then I think that, once you get to 15 properties, they get pretty safe bet to kind of graduate into that. But I think that overall, Turbo Tenant, my personal experience using it, and just everything that they have available to the landlord, it's a very solid program. I think it's extremely helpful. I think that landlords absolutely should use a program like this, if not Turbo Tenant, something else, but something that makes life and management of your property a lot easier. And Turbo Tenant is, I would say, probably in the top tier of that level of softwares. And then the last thing here that I really kind of like about this is they do have a good onboarding course. I mean, I think I don't remember how long it is. It's a little bit, maybe an hour or so, but it takes you through all of this, shows you how to set everything up, how to market, where to look for what, and so forth. So it really, I mean, that little bit of time investment will get you up to speed with Turbo Tenant very, very quickly. Some of these other softwares, the more sophisticated software is the best word I use for it. It takes a long time to learn. There's a lot of components to it, but this you can get done in a very short period of time and become very, very proficient at it. So that's what I got. That is what I have for the Turbo Tenant, just kind of review. Again, like I said, for me, I feel like this, and I've used this in the past, a solid platform. I've heard a lot of other people feel like it's a solid platform too. I hope this is helpful. If you feel like this is something you want to try, I'll leave a link in below. All transparency, it is an affiliate link. Again, I'm not recommending this over any other software, but if you're going to jump on and you like it and you decide to move forward, well, that'll help kind of support what we're doing with this group a little bit as well. So I'll put the link down there. The account itself, though, is free. All that stuff we talked about down to the premium and accounting software is free. I used it for a very long time free, and I actually just jumped on the premium just so I could get a better understanding of it, see what it looked like, and feel everything out. And again, I thought the premium was very well worth its value too. I've used their screening reports on here. I really like those. So my personal experience has been positive with Turbo Tenant. And yeah, that's what I got for tonight. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please let me know. And then that's it. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. And we will see you next time.